What do we do? Oh yeah, we're still looking for clues. We went to the defendant's apartment to check it out. And Sherlock Holmes is here. I mean, Herlock Sholmes is here. Of course. And we're gonna do a little, what's it called? Great deduction extravaganza or something. Those are not the right words. The thing where I have to correct him. You know. Because he's proposing a really out of there deduction. Hello. Oh, ad. I'm so sleepy. Oh yeah. Sherlock. Fucking Sherlock says that a lion was running amok in their apartment. And how did they get rid of it? They brought him to the circus. And that's why the place is a mess. Supposedly. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. No. An Asiatic lion. Now, Mr. Garrideb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Bring the ad back. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man. I simply... But what, we must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. I mean, same. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last, unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh dearie me. What could have caused such destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. Ugh, God, he's so close. He's so close. Just look what's right next to it. Ah! There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. What do you mean by expensive? Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. You're so stupid. You're so... Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. Sir, same. Oh! What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrideb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Yeah, I'm crying at how far-fetched this is. Oh! Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? Again. Well, your deductions just now... Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and his maid would have been hurt. Or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. Hello? I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Miss Susato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Oh, what a glorious notion. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. It's your turn to shine again. I wish what's her face in right books for him. Not Watson. Wilson. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage. That's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. He can do it. I think we need more than a massage. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. We can use it as blackmail. At least that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning. Of Sherlock Holmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Of course you wouldn't, but I will want to use it as blackmail. Mr. Sholmes will use it as blackmail. How about that? Uh-huh. Oh, that's farther away than I thought. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrideb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garrideb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. What you looking at, sir? Oh! What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Garrideb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply here. Oh, they look so happy! Oh my goodness. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. But no amount of cracks could hide the woman's plump form. I think powerful will be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. It looks like some sort of embellished sunflower. Oh, that's like a not, like, standard ring. I want a flower ring. This must have been when Mr. Garrideb was still in the army. He seems to be carrying his rather stout bride effortlessly and beaming a smile at the same time. I suppose he was very strong in his younger years. Hard to imagine now. He's as thin as a rake. Okay. I have to look at the photo. And I guess I'll present the bride.
Take that!
I don't think so. Also, you were right. His wife is the maid. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this frame print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrideb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. I don't know about that. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late, the fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged his room, was your wife, Mr. Garrideb. Yeah! The chilling traces of a wild rampage. Uh-huh. Oops. Wrong button. He also resent himself. Yeah, it's just, autoplay just lets it go. It doesn't make it faster. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Mrs. Garrideb anywhere. But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrideb's wife could be. The slash mark! I don't know what I'm looking for, but I just wanted to see. She's wearing a very large ring, look. Oh yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. It's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means it's surely a wedding ring. I have a ring on my left hand. Oops. It looks like it's on there for life, too. I can't imagine it would slide off a finger of that size. That's something to think, Mr. Naruhodo, not to say. Do you know Mr. Gyarados' wife in the photograph had a ring very much like this one? It was a large sunflower design as well. Really? You have a great memory for these things. We just saw it. A large sunflower wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence that they have the same ring, isn't it? No. That's what we need.
Take that!
Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the Beast's current whereabouts. We're still calling her the Beast? Ah. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Gyarados' bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Gyarados' lucky bride. You are Mrs. Gyarados herself. Oh my word! I wanna, like, pat her cheeks. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a badly cruel combat. Ah! It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? My golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Gyarados has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Gyarados? It's just like a class thing. Only in company, obviously. But listen here, this must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. Well, we got our blackmail material. Now, Mr. Gyarados, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose. Okay, we saw this already too. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Gyarados' wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. But Mrs. Gyarados is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true! So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Gyarados' pain is tangible though. What could that pose of his really signify? Flat cheek. Oh my! Look at that bright red mark. Gosh, that's quite something. And clearly made by somebody's hand. Yes, Mr. Gyarados has been slapped in the face, it seems. Hard. I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing? Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I'd say. I think that's it here, but I'm gonna look around.
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade was you, Madame Joan Garadeb. Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ah. How the blazes? How did you work that out, man? I mean, sir, look at your face. Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. It looks like she did, yeah. That's a weird kind of slap. Well, Now, let's proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garadeb to fly into a rage. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills. I don't think so. Did Mr. Holmes say that the bills were all for line fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the line never existed. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garadeb's wife. Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap round the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Bookmark. Ugh. Broken plate. Oh, what's this? Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garadeb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And look next to the signature here. Lip marks made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. Well...
Take that!
Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here. Oh! She did it again. But I don't know the Bolly woman. You don't know her. That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say. That's right, that's what I've been saying. A likely story. Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that secondhand place, and that note must have already been in there. So, the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right, that's what I've been saying. A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you've forgotten, is John. A likely story. Are you questioning my name now? Oh! And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Ugh. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Oh, okay. This is the... They ate the carpet! She ate the carpet. But surely Mrs. Garrett didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. We need only to follow Mrs. Garrett's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer. Okay, I need to silence my phone. Hold on. Alright, let's see what we can see. Yes. They are, though. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. It looks to me like even the slightest knock would make it topple over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the 3 missing from its holder? I don't know, you tell me! Can I say something about the carpet? Carpet here has been ripped to shreds. Yes, and according to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, the tears match those made by an Indian lion's teeth exactly. Oh, look here. What is it? If you look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks. Oh yes, so you can. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense at all. Let's rethink this with that in mind. Okay, I guess we present the candlestick.
Take that!
Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly gave the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. What the... snap? Mrs. Garrett's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, for the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion or a vengeful woman, but fire. Oh my god, maybe he should just write his own stories. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Aw, I thought they were gonna rhyme. Mr. Sholmes, sir. I salute you! Oh god. Is he dying? Oh. I think that's what happened. He got knocked the fuck over. It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good secondhand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor? Right to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. Okay. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being. Over here, Mr. Garrideb. Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me. Damn. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire, incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride? Ah yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. What? I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast rampage. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again. With our help, it can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was a total carnage, flames everywhere and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think. So exactly the same time. The terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment. And I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh, really? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. What can I do for you? Well, I think you got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now. What does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. He did say that, though. I just knew you were going to say that! Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, is it that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrideb. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Soseki-san will be waiting for us. I'm going to have to give him an answer. Heck yeah, we're gonna give him an answer. Can I look at the bookshelf? What a miserable sight. Oh dear, but at least the whole room wasn't engulfed in flames. I suppose so. My whole collection went up in smoke, you know. All those novels I adored so much. Jisk, well John, whose fault is that? Not mine, that's for sure. Well, whoever may or may not be to blame. I'm quite sure you can buy some new old books to replace them, can't you? New old books. Bally nonsense. It does sound like a contradiction in terms, but then these two are full of contradictions. That's couples for you, Mr. Naruhodo. Or so I've been led to believe. No, Susato. There is something better than this. I don't think there's anything else here. Alright, let's go to prison. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail a car. Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garrideb's house. Oh. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Who are you calling an old man, you rum-looking niminy-piminy? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who is this Horatio fella, eh? What are you on about? Excuse me? Eh? What the? Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. Eh? A lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. Tch. Fine, I'll be on me way for today, but you mark my words. This ain't over yet. Get thee to a nunnery. Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? Who? I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle, thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here, in the Garrideb residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. So Garrideb mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger, who lives on the first floor? Ah yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemus in my battle of words ne'er there could there be. Sorry? Battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. Wait. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Soseki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garrideb house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched. We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh, no, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese. Oh, now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There is nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand... fucking... It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. It's you. The miserable, rotten spy. Hairlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se. Save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room. At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. You can fuck off. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. You... How dare you, Hairlock Sholmes? I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life has been damned. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? You mentioned that once before, didn't you? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Tell me about your lodgings. Or we'll do trial first. Mr. Natsume, what do you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed. Oh no, why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. You're the one that said it. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? What if he dies because we win this case? Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Valley? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please, tell me. Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Wait, how many words is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That was 16 words. Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly. Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, don't tell him this! Just say we were successful! The defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGilded. What? I'm impressed, Mr. Sato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord's Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, Surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zeeks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Of course he is? Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. He's a vampire. What on earth do you mean by that? Van Zeeks is a quite exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Ha! That's good! Toseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, it is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. We can change this, you know. Just saying. And that's alright. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zeeks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. So the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom. Within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. I knew it. I'm a dead dodo, done for, doomed. When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Gerdub's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed. Oops." He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean, the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. I think you just need sleep, sir. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all. To believe. Yes, to believe. To believe! Mr. Sholmes? Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Buria, if you recall. The Buria? The Buria? Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Well, yes. At that time, I was a suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me? I see, yes. You mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room. Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said, I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I am concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Whether or not I can believe myself. Aw, fuck! This lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. You were so right, Kazuma. Okay. We should have said, well, I didn't really believe in Mr. McGolder, the last case. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear, there is never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume. If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire! As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. Although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in, the defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. I hate how he's right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Mr. Sato. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. He's so cute. She needs to stop glorifying her lockdowns, though. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Cosmo believed in me, and Mr. Shones believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Koseki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow. In the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah! Ryunosuke just realized the thing he was missing this whole time. He's gotta believe in himself. Just like Naruto. What a bullshit. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? We are on a study tour of Great Britain, with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose it's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning. Oh, he looks like he has not slept. Ah, Mr. Natsume, good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. God. He just like me for real. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. While literary people take things so literally. Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, welcome soon, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Yeah, he's like, I can't do it. Pose. I can't do this. Pose. Do you know why that might be, Miss Usato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me. It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Van Zeeks? Is that right, Miss Usato? No shit, Rinosuke. I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Valley. He stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Wait, so he was prosecutor, did enough to get that title, and then dipped. And then came back just now. Interesting. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? Trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeeks' return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. Well, okay, this is what we also learned while you were gone. We also learned that every defendant that goes against Van Zeeks, if they won, if they were found not guilty, they were found dead like a month after. So, coincidence? Fucking ad. I need to adjust the ad. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. But you wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they are all speculating various answers. Mundane? Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us. True. I mean, that's all you needed to hear. Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Welcome soon, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It's you. Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper! Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. True. Don't be friends with prosecutors. Hee hee. What were you saying? What was I saying? I don't know. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, yeah, just whoever comes up against Van Zeeks, if they're found not guilty, they're dead, basically. What's that saying? Deer in headlights? No. There's another saying. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student, new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills, or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, benevolent locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant, Miss Mikotova Esquires. I am in your debt forever. I shall never forget this great kindness. Oh, Miss. Yeah. He is history in the making right now. Mr. Natsume, Counsel for Defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way to the courtroom at once. Alright then, Mr. Natsume. It's time. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Yes! He's so shaky. This is it. My second appearance in the British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. Let's drink some tea. I think we're gonna get a Taco Bell for dinner tonight. Hee Oh! Did you see the jury members? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Susato-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Very true. And a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted, and his unfortunate violent end. Jesus Christ. Thank you, counsels. The judge is like, alright, let's keep going. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? Oh my god. I did not see him in the jury lineup. You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I fear. Oh well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. I'm afraid to say I think it's quite possible that mustache foreigner did the deed. You fucking... Come on, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anyway. Eh? Sorry? Didn't quite catch that. Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please. Yes, they aren't allowed to be jurors if they have any relation to the case. Someone must not be doing their research. Or someone did this on purpose, I don't know. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeeks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended his foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime? I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath they are. Experience. Just look at that sallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Alright. Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Hey, sorry. Didn't quite catch that. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. I guess so, yeah. That makes sense. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please. Oh, the one that saw him. Wait, what? Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. Look at her little face! Oh my goodness. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be. Yes, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure? Comatose. I see. But her life is not in danger. Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector. Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at this street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. I think she's gonna wake up in the middle of the court and be like, wait! I fell on this knife. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please. Case file. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch. That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. It looks like a pocket knife. Even the scragged-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. A common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Jackknife. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume. From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord. I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim? 2 blades? Okay, I don't know much about knives. I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes!
If theft and grievance had been ruled out as a motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you are arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Objection!
Hello? Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. But your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? What a waste of good wine. Some jackknives have 2 blades, but I guess we can look at the knife when we examine it. Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir. Fuck off. I want to see the stuff we just got. Alright, look at map. Stay advocacy, case file. Young, unread, unconscious, olive green, female, stout build, early 20s. Reporting officer, Rolly Beat. Rolly Beat? Names gleaned from personal effects, other details unknown. No other signs of injury. Okay. Huh. It's not sharp here. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just at the tip. Nip the tip! A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well spotted, Miss Husato. I wonder what could have happened to it. Yes, you don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you? Oh dear, I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. Interesting. Interesting. Nothing else about this knife. Okay, it's just the tip. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. But you don't know that for sure. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord, I have a photograph here at the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Ah yes, I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. Do you think... her name's Olive? I'm thinking of the bookmark love note. But I don't know, maybe it's just nothing. You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Miss Susato? Do go on. Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, now you mention it. When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had all happened. Walking, I saw the woman wearing green. So wait, right when he like tried to walk past her, she fainted with a knife. A green overcoat. Well, that's exactly what the woman in that print is wearing. Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What will the world come up next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean that he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time. Just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. Ugh. It seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Gah.
Hold it!
A light fog, you say? Well, light for London. You could see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much farther, though. That's light, is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. I've read that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate. I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Indeed. The other day I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling. Ugh, Susato-san and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused. Okay. No one else about but the victim and the accused.
Hold it!
We got... How are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simply, my learned friend. Because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us. Ah yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. That is correct, ma'am. Then we must hear their testimony. The prosecution will of course call them to the stand, should it be necessary. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen... I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. Ah. The prosecution believes there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime. Quite. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness. Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to. It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector.
Hold it!
From behind, you say? That's right. As you can see from this print. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition. Comatose, no less. I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's being treated at Bart's. Bart's? I was hopeful that she'd come round before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. Luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. You don't need to say things like this. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. Ugh. Enough.
Hold it!
Mr. Natsume's belongings, I think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. Yes, the 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books they were. Irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there. You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust a knife into the woman's back? Wait. Let me look at the receipt. 3 books. Can we look at the books in the picture? Dang it. That must be what happened, my lord. Yes.
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Oh, we're doing cross-examination. Yes, so I understand. A shop full of Old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. Oh. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings is this place here. Bourbon Books. Little place on the corner of Briar Road and Meerschaum Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Something like this. Okay. Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. Hold on. Let me check. This is your books. It doesn't say Bourbon Books. This one's, yeah, purchased before the incident occurred. What time was it? 4:45, so literally right before. So those weren't the books. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop. Mr. Naruhodo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being the bookshop's wait, let me look at the Bourbon Books. It's not the right name. The name. Inspector Gregson may ask you a favor. What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe? Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes! It could be a very important clue. Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance, but please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. The man be any more sardonic.
Hold it!
So the shop is called Bourbon Books, is it? That's right. That's the closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings. And to get from there back to his room, he would have gone right past the very spot where the incident took place. If I could just confirm one point. Can we be sure that the defendant really did visit Bourbon Books on the day in question? Well, we haven't actually confirmed it, no. You haven't confirmed it? Why the devil not, Inspector? Well, the thing is, the shopkeeper's gone on a trip, you see. Left the morning after the incident, to collect more stock, I'm told. So we, haven't been able to ask the bloke if the accused visited his shop on the day in question or not. Wow, how convenient. He just leaves. Well, in that case, what did the defendant himself have to say about it? No recollection. What? According to the statement he made at the time, the accused has no recollection of where he'd been. Of course he doesn't. The bloke clearly has his head in the clouds whenever he's walking about town. He claims he just wanders into whatever bookshop he happens to be passing and rarely notices a name. I should say that the man ought to learn to look where he's going at the very least. So, it's just as I thought then. Is something the matter? Inspector, you may continue with your testimony. Okay, should I just present... Wait. I think... Yeah, if they did all that investigating, like, right after they found the woman... Let me press this, just in case. You asked for the help of the famous detective Herlock Sholmes, who located the defendant, I believe. Stuff and nonsense. What did I say? Oh yeah. Yeah, I think he shouldn't have left because if they caught the guy the day of, then of course they would have asked around for witnesses. Sorry. That Jack in office, that busybody, just comes and sticks his oar in whatever we ask him or not. In whether we ask him or not. But according to what I have here, Mr. Sholmes was shown to the scene by Scotland Yard detectives. Well, that was nothing to do with me. The lads at the scene must have done it without my permission. I tell him time and again, whenever something happens, send word to headquarters. And follow your bloomin' instructions. I see. If that meddler gets his hands on any details, we'll all be reading it in Rand's magazine next month. And you can bet your last farthing that I'll be in there too, stripped of all my hard work on the case. But you get money! You're being written about in the magazine. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. No, Mr. Sholmes. Aren't you clever, Mr. Sholmes? That's all the thanks I'll be getting. Inspector. Yes, I answered your question. I said, like, they shouldn't have skipped town immediately if they started asking around about the incident. Because there were witnesses to it. If the man is proving detrimental to the yard's activities, perhaps I should step in and deal with him. Ah! It appears Inspector Gregson is lost for words. Yes, the Reaper's words carry a lot of weight, obviously. Anyway, the point is this, that little Japanese bloke's already admitted it. He's admitted that those books all over the pavement at the scene were the ones he bought that day. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? If you're unable to sway the jury during this cross-examination, I'm afraid Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed. Yes, they're sure to find him guilty. So one way or another, I have to expose an undeniable inconsistency in the inspector's testimony. I guess no one told him to, like, stay put. Present this.
Objection!
If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. And you found that in the accused's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books. Your Books. Y-O-R-E, I presume. Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. Eh? What? Inspector, do you know this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection!
But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection!
I need to see where it is on the map. I disagree. I mean, after all, I have a street map here, if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true? My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment? Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books is just here on the next corner of Meerschaum Street, going east. See... Does this help us? And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown! The way he regales us with such witticisms. He called me a clown. Your future career in the circus! Fuck you. You put the glass down now or I'll put it down for you. I, didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Ugh. Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Whip that sword out. As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try. What'd I say, eh? I've had enough of this now. Beg your pardon. Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that? It would be a few minutes longer, yeah. Mr. Naruhodo, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. Ah, she's absolutely right. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. What did they say? Okay, it makes no difference in the final analysis, I guess. But it makes a hell of a lot of difference. I don't know. It claims Saseki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from Your Books, but... I would object, right? I gotta do something. It's important, I think. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. I know we have 5 lives left, but I should get into the habit of saving. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from Your Books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way round. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? You said he saw it happen? Natsume? Yeah. Natsume said... Well, no, he said... Okay, he saw the lady, tried to walk past her to, like, get to the apartment, and then she suddenly screamed and fell. So if he was walking in that direction, he wouldn't have seen the guy behind the woman. If she was coming in down from that street, I think. Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator for this crime.
Objection!
But, aha! Yes, I've got it. Obviously, you must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I've already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this! I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defense still... Hello? I agree, Lord Van Zeeks, wholeheartedly and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean we members of the jury are completely convinced now? Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Oh, their voice.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve queen and country admirably. Naruhodo. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow. Those are the hours of quarry not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his Ankus refusal to throw in his alley. Ankus? Ankus? Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Let's see your reasoning, bitches. For pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted himself, didn't he? He said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes. Why? It can only have been the victim. Unpleasant, unattractive, or unacceptable. Okay. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. Not in winter. But the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. Your books, yes, and I shopped at. But bourbon books? No, not worth a visit. That's all you say. Wait, you judge him guilty because he goes to... Oh wait, no, he said your books was good. Why did you say guilty? Fuck you. With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. Are they? When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already. Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Ugh, why did he have to run away like that? How are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling if we want to force the trial to continue. Yes, I know, I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination. Yes, my lord. Just need to keep this trial going somehow, whatever it takes. Come on, Ryunosuke, you can do it. I can press. I should press each of them, actually.
Hold it!
Excuse me, but aren't you... Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago. Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. Or the sight of it, anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started fossicking around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute. Sorry? Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals. Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge. I guess he's Australian. There's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me non-stop. If I could turn back the clock... Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't. Huh. Thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind, given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. I don't know, actually.
Hold it!
You're right at the time of the incident. You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him. Well, quite. That's precisely my point. Clearly that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit. But let's not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman. Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward, honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes. But if that's a lie, as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible? Well, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds? I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it. I'm ready to fight. I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could possibly have committed this awful crime. Ugh. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple. Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit. Oh my, you are too kind, my lord. That went well. For her. Gone around the houses.
Hold it!
But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books. Oh yes, like you drew on the map, you mean. What was it? Calabash Road or something? Precisely. But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. The trial really happened while the victim was in a coma? I don't know. I feel like it's pretty important having their testimony. Well, yes, that's true. And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there? Well, yes, that's true as well. And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he? Well, yes, that's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible. Well, yes. Why is all this true? So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road. Ugh, I'm supposed to be convincing you here. I've given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone the Calabash Road way, it'd be different. I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honest, I would. Reason why Saseki-san might have taken the longer way home. What reason would he have, though? If only we can ask him. Jesus. Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one. Oh, attack from behind, was she? How dreadful!
Hold it!
Whatever's the matter, young man? You're the wife of Mr. Garrideb, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume his room. The master's wife? Where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid! The maid, you understand! She's keeping up that charade. Ugh, this is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you'd been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean. Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone till the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice. I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he? Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now. And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this? Oh my goodness me, yes, he's just the sort. What? That spending all his time in that dark and dingy room sporting that unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. Y'all are just racist. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. Oh dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm. Nothing more. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Hey! I didn't mean it like that! I better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She said enough damning things already. Okay, I guess we're not gonna have her. Damn, I gotta convince everyone else.
Hold it!
A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's. Ah. The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat, and neither do the wife and kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. I go to the union every morning to find out what he's doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn till dusk it is. So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was. What? Another coincidence. That's right. Meerschaum Street it was. Meerschaum Street. On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point of that? Can we just get this business over with now? Please, sir, it's all important. Fine, I'll do it then. Hell yeah, we got something. I was digging up Meerschaum Street from dawn till dusk. Okay. Can we press him on this?
Hold it!
So if I understand correctly, you're a day laborer and you were doing road maintenance that day. That's right. Like I said, you get a lot of burst gas and water pipes underground in the middle of winter. It's the only time of year fellas like me can actually make a few bob, and I'm missing out today. And when you say from dawn till dusk, well, the work has to be completed within the day, see? No coaches or pedestrians can pass while it's happening. I wonder if I could trouble you, sir. Jury members usually are paid, so I don't know, but I don't know how it is in England. To mark on the street map the exact location of the works you were carrying out. Give it here then. Let me have a look. Right. Let's see then. Here we are, Meerschaum Street. Guess it was just here, like. It was a tidy dig, I can tell you. We had to get through all the drifts of snow that had frozen solid. Hell yeah. And at what sort of time did you finish the work? Well, we started in the morning and we can't have finished before gone 6, I'd say. Snow had stopped coming down, but it was long past dark for sure. You called it, but I didn't see you, like... Oh, okay, you said maybe not to take the long way. That means the road work was still going on when Miss Green was attacked at around 5 o'clock. Roadworks on Meerschaum Street, huh? Your books, yes, I shop that, but bourbon books? No, not worth a visit.
Hold it!
Sorry. Fold it, you say? Fold what? No, what I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often? I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question? Well, I was picking out books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Just before 5, you say, exactly when the victim was attacked. Wait a minute. Are you sure about the time? He's wearing green. He's wearing green, by the way. Oh yes, make no mistake there, I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry. Not after the dreadful time I had. What do you mean? Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and donked my head. It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's the most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I really thought my number was up. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road. That's right. I live in Cornpot, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books. Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant. Sorry? Extremely sick. No, I'm quite alright now. It sends a shiver down my spine to hear the members of the jury so convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt. But I can't help feeling that some of their opinions are rather subjective. I agree. It's the irrelevance of what some of them are saying that sends a shiver down my spine. Still, at least some of their assertions don't actually incriminate Mr. Natsume of anything. That's something. We must use that to our advantage, Mr. Naruhodo. Cunningly. Yes, you're right. Let's listen to the jurors again. Okay, okay. I know what to do. I know what to do. Blah, 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 blah. Don't hold back. Oh my god. So, wait. The green thing that he saw falling down was this old man. Because they were both at the same bookstore. And he left first. And he's an old man who just doesn't walk that fast. Alright, I'll end it here. It's been 2 hours.